What's cool is, we get to hang out online and share some stories. And tonight we got Kara with us. Kara Mentzer, how you doing, Kara?
I'm doing good.
So Kara's coming. She's going to bring the excitement tonight. She's sitting here listening to her dad and me tell stories on this show, along with the other gang that hangs out with us. And it's your turn up. Your next girl up. So we're going to talk archery and S3DA hunting, and I think that's something that you guys got a little bit of passion for. And we were talking a couple of weeks ago, Matt, about you wanting to promote this season, being a youth archery coach. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn it over to you, man. Why don't you just introduce yourself to those? Most people that are watching probably know who you are, but tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into coaching.
Yeah. So I mean, most everybody knows me that's been watching this. Ron and I grew up together. Um, Deep background in hunting and outdoors growing up as a kid. Loved just loved it. And when my kids got of age to start it and they were ready to do the same things, they they took to it, which was great for me. Um, you know, to enjoy the outdoors with your kids, it's second to none. Second to none in my opinion. And with the archery, we kind of fell into the archery, honestly. Another lady at our club actually talked about getting us started with her kids. We all shot together, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. And the girls and Mason, they were all shooting together, and so she did all the legwork, and we're very thankful she did the legwork because honestly, the rest of us probably would have fell short with the legwork that was involved with getting us set up and making the connections to get the club to get our club established as an S3DA youth team. You
Yeah,
know, so props to mom for taking it upon herself to do it. And then once we were in there, it's one other gentleman, Travis, that helps me all the time. He is like my right hand man with this. Um, you know, I have the title of head coach, but we co-coach. There's
yeah.
nobody's in charge. So we took off running with it because we both loved doing it. Our kids took to it, so it naturally just fell together.
Yeah, and you guys do a great job. So, like for those that are watching or listening, why don't you explain S3DA? Who that is, what the group's about, and
So
lay the foundation for people that are not familiar.
right, so S3DA, it's Scholastic 3D Archery, and it's actually set up that it can be run through the school system.
Hmm.
It's with the background checks and the vetting of everyone that's involved with it. It could be run through a public school. And in some states, public schools participate. They have their own team. You know, and it's in Pennsylvania. It's all a club-based thing. There's no like public schools aren't doing it in Pennsylvania. If you see a public school doing it, it's more in the South or the Western
Sure.
Midwest to Western part of the country. But it gets kids involved that are school age. Essentially, you can be if you're a freshman enrolled in college, you're still eligible. But you know, essentially, it's a school, K through 12,
Okay.
establishment. And I say K lightly. Young,
Sure.
8 years old is where the age starts. But there's always some kids that are 7, 6, 7-year-old kids that just got it too.
We
That
started
are
shooting when
ready.
we were young, but I don't
Yeah,
think I was that young.
right. But so we'll say like second grade through 12th. The first graders and kindergartners may be a little young, but we have some that come shoot, and they do a good job with it. Being able to be safe and follow instructions is the biggest thing with it. You know,
Yeah, so I
The-
imagine like with most youth mentor programs, you guys are teaching the basics. You're teaching safety,
yes,
how to use a bow, the you know archery 101. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah, and
there's
we
nothing like learning when you're young, because I come hang out at the range with you guys from time to time, and these young kids, like they're teaching me things. They're showing me what they've learned, and out shooting me for sure.
yeah, well, and it does. I mean, you touched on it, safety. It starts with safety.
Yeah,
I mean, Kara can tell you that we hammer on that pretty hefty. You know,
you need
it's
to.
yeah.
You
I mean,
need to
because
Yeah.
at
drive
the
that
end, I mean,
home.
at the end of the day, it is a weapon. It's a sport with a weapon. So you know, but when done safely, it's as safe as any other sport you're going to be a part of.
All right. Well, listen, I got a bunch of questions that I want to ask you as like the coach and the parent, but I really want to get to Kara because I want to hear her take on this. Um, tell us, Kara, introduce yourself to the audience and tell us like what made you want to try archery. I know you're part of the family, you're a Mentor, right? But not everybody digs it, and you seem to take to it. So give us a little bit of your background, your story.
I don't know. I never really shot archery that much until like this past like summer.
Hmm.
Well, it was before the summer because we started shooting. But like last summer, yeah, that's when I really started shooting. I really never shot before that. But we did a couple 3D shoots here and there, and that kind of just made me interested in it.
And I imagine just from like knowing you and talking to your dad and watching you guys go through it, but you're making some friends doing this. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about the program and how's it help you grow as a person, socially even?
I mean, I don't know. Just like I feel like you just like meet people at the shoots, so you like get to talking with them. Like the 3D shoots, especially, you're with them, walking with them all day, so you just like talk to them, and then you get to know them, and it's like really nice.
Yeah, once you find people, and you'll discover this. I mean, that's what we're doing here with the show. We're finding other people online that
Like
um,
minded.
we like the same stuff, and it's easy to have a conversation with one another. And so, we come online and we hang out, and I think that you get that a little bit when you're shooting, with a group for an hour or so. You learn what people like. You get to know each other and swapping stories. Do you got any fun stories about shooting or any competitions? Because I know you were shooting some competition last year, right?
Yeah, we were. I don't know. It
How
just
about
like
indoor nationals, Kara? How about states,
indoor
indoor
nationals.
states? You have some good stories from states and nationals.
Hmm. I don't really remember. Um, but like at the indoor nationals shoot, like there was girls from our state. I've never like ever talked to them because I'm just never around them. I don't shoot in the same team as them, so I never really talked to them. But then at nationals, they came up to me and like started talking to me, and like I've been like friends with them since. It's just making friendships. Like I don't know. Then we hung out all that weekend. We had a whole bunch of fun. Like we made a whole bunch of memories together.
That's it. And those memories, you're gonna remember that when you're old, like your dad and I. You're gonna remember, and you're gonna be telling stories about when you first got out and you made some of these friends, because some of those friends. Here's the thing about life in general, but in hunting and in anything you do, you don't always finish with the same people you start with. Like that's a given, but there will be people that will remain in your circle for a lifetime. And those sort of things, when you get to be a little bit older, you appreciate the people that um, you've you got some war stories to go through with, and it starts by just getting to know each other and hanging out and having a lot of fun, like you said.
Yeah.
Matt, what's it been like for you? I know you said about hanging out with and hanging out with your kids and doing stuff together. We always talk about having a mentor relationship with people. Um, having a hunting buddy, like life is better, hunting's better,
Yeah.
doing it with friends, just like Kara said. But like, what's it like doing this, seeing your kids shoot and be successful? And it's not even just your kids, you know, it's your these other kids, the team that comes in underneath you. You see them progress in skill and learn and get better, faster, stronger. Talk to us about that and what that's like.
So yeah, I mean that's one thing when we talk about our kids. Anybody that signs their kid up for the program and comes onto the Dillsburg Youth Archers roster,
Hmm.
they become my kid. In one way, shape, or form, that's my kid. You know, so we're gonna coach them just like we would our own, and defend them just like they're our own.
Yeah,
We're just as invested as anyone's kid. As long as they invest in the program too. You know,
yeah. You got to put a little bit of skin in the game, I guess,
you know,
yourself. But you
right.
can
I
see
mean,
the
yeah,
people that are into it.
that's the part it's hard sometimes, but it's also real rewarding. You know, because we have kids that they're not all as invested. We'll call it. And sometimes it's hard for them, and like as a coach, and this is with any sport. If you coach youth, you watch them and you're like, man, that kid is this close. He's right there. But why won't he put the work in? Like, why won't he just,
Right.
if he just did a little more, if he just did, and it's frustrating as a coach, but it's rewarding too because, and Kara hit on it. You see them out there with their friends. We got kids on our team that you know, I watch them and I'm like, man, they're so close. Like, well, this is
Hmm.
the week. This is the week. And then, but you see them out there shooting, you know, or you see them pass a friend on the course, and you just see their face light up because that's their buddy.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, yeah, that it's cool.
So
You know,
here's a question for either of you guys, I guess. What's more valuable or what's more important in your eyes? Is it being successful, when you're like that close and you can just get over the hump, or is it having fun? Because some people can have fun while not being successful, and others are we're wired like we've got to excel. That's having fun for us. So what is it for you, Kara?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's both, kind of like a little bit of both. Yeah,
Would you prefer to? I mean, obviously, you prefer to have fun, but you wanna win. You wanna do well.
yeah. I mean, obviously, everybody wants to win, but you also want to have fun. Like, if you're not winning, like if you're not having fun and winning both, like it's even if you win, it's not fun if you didn't have fun doing
That's
it.
that's my point, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
Some people can do like you can excel, you can push yourself, you can practice until you're blue in the face, and you can do really well, but it takes the joy out of it. And so like never lose that having fun with your friends. I don't know. And what
yeah,
do you say about that, Matt?
yeah. I mean, it's all about you want to have fun, you know. And I'm the other guy there though. Winning's fun. If
Oh
we
yeah.
if we win, we're gonna have fun. Not everybody has that mentality, so sometimes you have to gauge. You have to gauge what you're doing by the audience.
Hmm.
And when you have a roster of 20 kids, you know, 8 of them want to win. 12 of them just want to have fun and take it as it comes. And Kara is a prime example. When she's having fun, she shoots well.
Right.
You know, Mason is
No
all business.
pressure.
All Mason's all business all the time. If you watch the pictures, and see the pictures from the big events, Kara's smiling. It doesn't matter how the day's going. There's an iconic picture of Kara making a face after a bad shot on a target that it's been everywhere, and everybody loves that face, and they know it just wasn't the best shot. You know. Now, if Mason made that same shot, you'd have to edit what was going on because he's losing his mind.
Right. Right.
So so it's fun because we see both sides of it, especially with the kids. It's fun watching. It's fun watching a kid that's just there to beat themselves each week, and that's what we try to encourage. It's not about being. It's not that podium's a great goal,
Mhm.
but you're your own. You're your own biggest competitor. You're your own enemy with archery because it's so mental. You shoot with us enough, Ron. Like
No doubt.
you come to the range and shoot. You're your own worst enemy some days. So just being able to know that you walked off the course and you shot better than you shot last week, that's a win in my mind. As long as the kids are smiling at the end of the day, that's a win. You
So
know.
let me ask you a question about that. All right, so about how big's the team that you coach?
So last year we had, I believe it was 14 kids on the roster.
And you've only been doing this for a year or
That was
two,
the
right?
that was the first year.
Last year was your first year,
that was our inaugural roster was 14 kids.
right? And so and you guys shoot out of Dillsburg with the Dillsburg Archery
Yep,
Club, right? And so you guys started this youth team, and you had how many kids?
14 last year.
14 kids showed up last year. All right. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good group to get
Right.
started. And now this year, what is it? What's the feel like? What's the temperature?
So the
You
temp. I mean, right
feel like
now
you're going to have the
there's.
same amount of kids come back, or are you going to have some drop off and some new ones come in, or you just don't
So
know?
we don't know for sure.
Right.
Um, if I had to gauge if I had to gauge the room, so to speak,
Hmm.
right now, I think 20 is a pretty safe number. But we are actually having an open house, open sign up thing here coming up in, I believe it's November 2nd, the
Yes.
first Sunday in November. We're gonna do an open house where everybody's welcome to come check it out. You know, if you have equipment, bring your equipment and shoot with the coaches. If you don't, come in. We'll talk to you about what the different classes are.
Hmm.
Maybe we have some equipment between Coach Travis and myself. We have some bows that you can try and feel different situations and different equipment types out. So we're hoping after that, we're hoping to land somewhere between 20 and 30.
That's a good group
30,
for what
30's
you got. Yeah.
30's kind of 28, 30-ish is our magic number just because of practice space.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and it's not that I don't want to turn any kid away that wants to shoot. A kid that wants to be out there and shoot, I want to help them. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, if we take on more than that, we can't take care of each kid and give them all the attention and you know that they deserve from us as coaches.
Yeah. I mean, coach to student ratio, you got to keep that in mind without a doubt. And
And space for indoor season. Like indoor is our largest time of year, the winter time here. Obviously, I mean because nobody's going outside and doing anything. But once little league fires up in the spring and soccer and we do lose some kids to that, but we gotta gauge our roster to what we have for indoor season because that's our biggest limiting factor is indoor.
all right, so like we'll plug this here at the end of the show because I know that we want to, look, if you guys are listening or if you're catching this on the replay, and you're in the South Central PA area, Dillsburg's kind of centrally located. So we want to plug this program. If you got a what is it, K through 12, second
Yeah,
grade
yeah, I
through
mean,
12.
yeah, even we like I say, we have some younger kids that come in and shoot. They're not competing because they're not there yet, but they're coming in
They're
to
learning.
practice and then learning, you know, and they're having fun. They come back every week, and they're smiling. So
Probably the
that
most fun to watch too.
Yeah, and Kara enjoys the little ones. Like, some of our older, more experienced kids, they enjoy coaching.
Yep.
We just had what we called it Archery 101, and Travis and I stepped back and basically we watched and we left our S3DA archers run the practices. You know,
That's awesome.
left the kids do. I mean, we had a couple kids that stepped up and said, "Hey, coach, can you help me with this? Can I get some more instruction? I'm interested." Well, it's like, "Hey, man, the light come on now. Hey, I am all about it, dude. Whatever you need, you when you're asking for more, we're here right here to supply that.
So, Kara, what would you who would you say is like the ideal like target audience for a program like this? Like I'm thinking of myself, like I'm a deer hunter, and that's what I do. But when I think of you guys, I know you're like target archers. Even though you hunt deer also, like you really enjoy shooting target and shooting 3D and that sort of stuff. So, is there a type of person that you would say this is a great fit for?
Honestly, I feel like it's for like anybody. Like there's a whole bunch like not everybody's the same. Like everybody's different that shoots archery. Not everybody's the same way, likes the same things.
All right. All right. Well, I mean, if it's something that you guys are interested in learning more about, it's a great fall winter season. And it takes you through into the spring and gives us something to do when it's getting dark out earlier. You can still shoot indoors and that sort of thing. What's it like? What's it like working with your dad? I'm usually asking him like, what's it like to shoot with your kids, but what's it like having your dad as a coach?
I don't know, it's pretty nice, but like also there's the times where you need to like have somebody else coach you. Like
Right.
we go and like right now we're going to shoot it's called Joad where we're shooting at a different club right now.
Hmm.
And it's just nice to have another person's like perspective and watching me and like giving me advice.
Yeah, because you hear the same thing from the
Yeah.
familiar voices in your life all the time. So hearing it from somebody else probably, I get that perspective. That makes sense. Buck, how about you? I know like you've shared with the group, 3 years ago. You would have, if we told you that you were this involved, you would have laughed about it because of time
Yeah,
restraints and et cetera. But what's it been like, working with your own kids? I mean, is this drawing you guys closer? And what's it like also watching these kids that aren't yours, but watching them progress?
it's very rewarding, I mean, it's rewarding across the board. Um, to enjoy it with my girls has been fun. Um, Mason's doing it on a different level, and that's fun too.
Right,
And I'm actually glad that Mason's where he's at with what he's doing with his archery career. We'll call. I mean, at this point, we're going to call it a career,
right.
um, because that gives me the release of the competitiveness.
Hmm.
Because he's all business, so when I work with Mason, it's all business. So I can get all that competitive juices we can get out with we're working on Mason stuff and getting him ready for whatever he's shooting. So then when I go back to these kids, then it's more about fun for me. I can get that serious side out of me, with
Yeah,
Mason, and we can, you know, get be more hardcore about, really breaking things down and hey, that's not right. We're gonna do this till it's right, so that when we go back into that room with, the kids that are here having fun, competing with themselves each week, that aren't upset when they don't make the podium. They're just happy they got to shoot their bow and meet and hang out with their buddies again this weekend.
that's all we really want is to hang out with our
So
friends.
it's given me a great balance.
All right, so start telling me some stories, guys. Buck, I know you were trying to set her up to tell a
Well,
story about some
yeah,
different
she
shoots
won't.
and stuff.
So I mean, the biggest story, I guess, storyline for me would be we went to nationals. I took Kara and Erica to nationals last year,
And
indoor
this is your
nationals.
first year, right?
Yeah, this is their first year. This is their first year shooting. Mason wrestles in the wintertime, so Mason's, it's actually regional weekend is when it happens. So he's definitely out.
Mhm.
Sidebar, Dad's a nervous wreck because I've never missed a big wrestling event. I've been coaching that boy and helping that boy wrestle since he was in kindergarten, and that was the first time I ever missed anything. So Kara got a good laugh. She can tell you some good stories about watching me watch wrestling matches over the phone. But we go down there and we check into our motel, and we're next to these other girls that we've talked to them. Obviously, they're from Pennsylvania. We've shot with them all year or all winter.
Yeah.
We've met, we've talked. They end up across the hall from us. Well, the running joke is, well, hey, Coach Mentzer doesn't have a wife with him. That's the hangout room, you know. He's
You
on
can
his
get
own,
away with more.
and we ended up with this 2 room suite because we booked late because I was on the fence about going because of the
Yeah,
wrestling. So we booked late, so we ended up with this 2 room suite. You know, everyone's joking about the penthouse.
and you get
I
the
come back,
hangout spot.
yeah, yeah. I come back to my room one night, and my whole room is full of girls. Some girls I've seen them. I don't know who they are. I'm like, they're just like, hey, Mr. Mentor. Oh, okay. You know, and like they just, it was one big family. You know, that's what hooked me.
Hmm.
You know, was when we went to the national level, everyone from PA was one big team, one big family. You know, and I think that's when the bug really bit Kara and Erica at that point because up till that point, they kind of kept to themselves and they just did their thing and shot the bow and they talked to people a little bit. But then when they got down there, that was a whole different exposure. So that was the event in my mind that blew it open for my kids.
Would you agree with
We
that, Kara?
Yes, I would very much agree with that.
yeah, she won't tell you the stories, but that's the one that took the spark and made a fire.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Well, I mean, that's the stuff we want to hear. The audience wants to hear. If you got a young person thinking about doing something like this, if you're a parent listening to this show and you're thinking about getting your kid involved, it's stories like that are going to maybe help them step across the threshold and take the next
well,
step.
and to take that a step further, I would say to any parent, as a parent
Right.
and coach, I would say if your kid's out shooting and you're on the fence and you're like, I wonder, I'd like to see them shoot more, or do they really like this? Bring them get them involved with a youth organization. If you're not in Dillsburg area, there's these clubs are all over the place. There's good archery clubs, out there. Go get them involved when there's other youth because that's the biggest difference maker I've seen. And I see that even with our young kids when they have kids their age and
Hmm.
their level, that spark becomes a fire. You know, the kids that are good at the good shooters, they like it because they're good.
Sure.
But the kids who are just learning and are working through some things, and you're trying to and you're coaching them up, and you're working, getting better each week. When they have somebody to work through it with, and someone that they can measure success against on a weekly, monthly, weekly basis, whatever you want to call it. I see that as something that really helps keep the fire lit.
All right. So it's been you're going into season two. You're looking to like rebuild the team, reestablish the team, and get them together and stuff. Let me start with this: like going into your first season, not necessarily having not been there and walked that road, you're not fully sure of what it's going to look like. You know,
Right.
but now
Oh, for
how
sure.
you've done it one year. What's expectations look like? Do you got internal goals, or what are you guys looking at?
Um, I mean, my goal is for everybody to have fun at this point. I, you know, some of our kids, and the goals levels, I guess, are going to be different for some of our kids than other kids.
Right, right.
The goal for some is to win.
Hmm.
That is the goal for some of them, and the goal for some of the other ones is going to be just to better themselves each week. Erica, my youngest daughter, she was one arrow away from a perfect round indoors last year. Missed it by and lost it on the last arrow.
So that's some stiff
So
competition.
that's well. I mean, she was one. I mean, that's stiff competition within herself.
Yeah.
She was one arrow from a perfect round, and the last arrow she knew it, and she missed it. There again, you're your own biggest competitor.
And like anybody that shoots archery knows, like you can feel it leave the
Yeah,
bow, and
yeah.
if it's like if it feels right or if all right, that's off.
So I know her perfect round is one of her goals this year.
Okay.
You know, Kara Kara was fourth place at states last year indoor. So
Yeah, and that's incredible for just getting
she missed
started, you
she
know?
missed the podium by 5 points. So I'm sure Kara has some things in mind there. And she had some really close competition with some girls all season. A couple other kids on her team, same way. We have a young man who shoots, and the division he shoots in, I mean, it's lights out. These guys, I don't want to have to shoot against them. They're gonna beat most adult archers, and I watched him come up just a couple points short every week of the podium. My goal for him is to be on that podium with them guys this year because he's there. He just needs to put a full day together.
So break that down for us, that, I've never gone to one of these competitions. Like what's a division look like? Is it age bracket,
Yes,
skill level, you
age and
know?
equipment.
Okay.
So with S3DA, the major equipment types, you're going to have your bare bow, which is like a recurve.
Okay.
Then you have Olympic recurve, which is basically the same thing, but you can shoot a sight and X stabilizers, like you would see an Olympic shooter shooting.
Mhm.
Then there's the compound pins class, which is what most guys hunt with.
Right.
That would be most people's hunting setup. And then, they have what they call the open setup. So that's the long bars, scopes with magnification in them, the full on target setup like that you would see in a magazine or on TV. So that's the main classifications of equipment.
All right, so that's the equipment, and then it goes by
And then
age
it's by
range or
age.
skill set.
Yes.
Like,
Age
so, like, if
range.
you're young, can you you outshoot everybody, and you level up to the next level?
Well, you can shoot up one division if you choose to, but most kids shoot within their age division. Um, man, I don't have the paper in front of me, and I'm horrible at that. But it's
No, I'm just asking so that I know.
there's
There's other people that
four.
don't.
So we have junior eagle, which is the youngest.
Okay.
And then there's eagles, and then it goes to youth and young adult. So there's four age brackets as well, and they there's four age brackets with that. The two younger ones, they
Mhm.
shoot from a shorter distance, and as there again, as you get older, your distances get longer.
Right.
Your max distance is obviously indoor is indoor. So the youth and young adults shoot at 20 yards, and the junior eagle and eagles shoot at 10. You know, but then once you go out to 3D, their max yardages change. As a junior eagles 15, eagles 20, the youth goes to 30, and then young adult gets out to 40.
So what are you shooting, Kara?
Um, I'm shooting open youth. Yeah. So
Okay, and
like
like distance, what's the normal distance that you're?
indoor is 20 yards, and then outdoor target is 40 meters,
Okay.
and 3D is 30 yards. Yes.
All right. Well, I know when I was shooting with you guys last summer, I guess it was last summer, maybe 2 summers ago, when I started, Kara, you weren't shooting as much, you were scorekeeping, the first time I came out and really hung out with you guys and did the 3D course with you guys and stuff, but, um, you know, I I really loved hearing the story about how you picked it up, you embraced it, you started having fun shooting, then you met some friends. And I think that, like, that's probably the biggest takeaway, that I've got from watching you and your sister and your brother go out there and do it is you're having fun, you're meeting new people, and your dad says the community, like the community of people that are involved in this type of shooting is second to none. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're talking to a teenager out there that wants to get involved, like what would your words of wisdom or advice be? Because I mean, that's why we wanted to bring you onto the show. I want to get your perspective on, you know, if you were selling this and trying to encourage somebody to get involved, what would you say to them?
Honestly, I would just tell them to try it. Like, just pick up a bow and try and see if they like it. Because honestly, I didn't really like shooting my bow, and then I started shooting it more often and like with people, and it just got fun. Like, I wasn't just shooting with the family; I was
Right.
shooting with like other people my age.
I think that's good
So
advice.
yeah,
I think that's good advice to everybody. You know, even if you've never picked up a bow before and you're thinking about it, some people just don't want to try something new.
yeah.
I think there's a lot
I
of
was
people out there that are intrigued by archery but are afraid.
Yeah.
yeah. Like we had one girl like like she was interested in it. I could tell she was interested, but she was scared to slap her arm.
Hmm.
Like she was scared of the bow because she was scared she was gonna slap her arm. Yeah, it's like you just gotta try it. And then she never ended up slapping her arm. Like she had fun and she didn't slap her arm. Like I don't know.
And once you start having fun, even when that happens from time to time, if that happens, like the fun overrides the pain.
It becomes it's a battle scar, right, Kara?
Yeah,
You get to
very
laugh
much
about
so.
It's a
you
rite
get
of
to laugh
passage.
you get to laugh about it and show it off, and
Well, that's good. I mean, so I mean, that's what you would tell other kids who are thinking about joining but might be nervous is just pick up your bow. Just give it a shot.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
All right.
Or go somewhere to try it if they don't have a bow.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, most people in this type of group, everybody wants to help one another out. You know, that's the one thing that I find whenever I come hang out with you guys is everybody's, you know, chipping in. Even you teenagers and stuff. You're pointing out things and you're always helping one another, and I love to see it. I love to see it. So, Buck, where can folks what's your pitch here? Because you wanted to come on and really talk about this. Where can folks reach you? How can they, if they're interested in learning more, where should we send them?
Well, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. The Dillsburg Archers have a Facebook page too that I'm one of the moderators on. So, I mean, if they reach out on Facebook or, that's where most of our traffic comes from. People see the posts on Facebook.
Yep.
I'm always trying to post stuff that our youth is doing on the archery page. One of our girls, it's Kara's age, actually shot it at a tournament this weekend and won her division. Outside of S3DA, it wasn't an S3DA event. It was a different organization event. But her and Kara are good friends. She won her event this weekend, and I just posted up. I'm like, hey, congratulations, Sawyer. You know, and people just check it out, and we get a lot of traffic that way. Um,
Everybody's super encouraging.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's everybody that's in this game. It's such a mental game that anyone that really understands archery knows what it takes to be a good archer. And even when you have a bad day, they know what it took for you to get to where you're at. So
Right.
everyone's always encouraging. Yeah.
What's the season look like? Like what's the time? I know you said you had an open house coming up for people that are interested.
Yes, our open house is going to be the first Sunday in November the 2nd. It's November the 2nd, the first Sunday there in November. It's
Okay.
going to be 3:30 to 6 at the Dillsburg Club. Um, and then basically what we're hoping is kids can come out, parents and kids alike, can come out and bring their bows, try it out, like Kara said, pick the bow up and shoot it. And if you're thinking about it, we'll have equipment there. You don't need to have a bow. Come in, you know, we'll have a bow you can try and shoot, and we can talk about it and look at where you're at and your age, and you know, say, hey, we got room. You can come in and practice. And not everybody's going to go to competitions right away. You know,
Sure.
not that's just we all practiced at one point. Ron, you and I grew up shooting in the backyard, and it's just for us it was shooting them groups in the backyard until you were good enough that you were allowed to go hunting.
We
And that's
used to
kind of where we're at with the youth is shoot good enough till you can go to the competition.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to take like a deck of playing cards, Kara, and we would just pin up a card, and that was the target. You know what I mean? Can you hit that? Whatever 5-inch card, 3x5 card, and we would call it out like, all right, this is a 6 point. You got one draw. Can you make it count? And we would challenge one another. But that's how everybody starts somewhere, and you gotta practice, and doing it with a friend is so much more fun than just going out and practicing by yourself, even though it's important to practice by yourself as well. So, we'll put the address to the club
Yeah,
in the show notes, when we post this and put it out. November 2nd, what'd you say, 3 to 5?
3:30 to 6.
3:30 to 6. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep me honest.
I'm gonna be posting it on my socials here too.
Follow
Probably,
Matt on social media. He's going to make sure that he gets all the information out there
yeah.
accurate. But
I'm gonna post it up after this is over. I was waiting kind of tonight after we talked about this. I was waiting until this, and then I'm gonna get it up tonight yet. So it'll be
awesome,
hitting.
awesome. Well, we'll push it out, and we'll try to get all the different pages and groups that are connected to us to put it out there, because regionally, if you guys are in the South Central PA, even the Central PA area, and you're looking for a good sport activity for your kids to get involved in over the fall and winter months, I mean, this is second to none. They're going to learn skills, they're going to learn patience, they're going to learn safety, and they're going to make friendships that are going to last a long time. you know I see you nodding your head because it's true. Any parting words, Kara, from you? I appreciate you finally breaking the ice and coming on the show with us. We're always I'm always joking with her, saying you need to get you on the show here pretty soon. But and any parting words for those that are watching? What would you tell them?
I don't know. Just if they have any kids, or even if they're listening and are like in the age to shoot, just pick up a bow and try it. Like, it's fun.
It's
At least
fun.
for me. And I know a lot of people like it too. Even if they don't want to admit it, they do like it.
That's great. That's great. Matt, closing statements.
Yeah, I think Kara pretty much summed it up. Get out there, get out and shoot your bow. Pick up a bow and go try it. You know, if you don't have a bow to try, reach out. If you're not in our area, I could point you in the direction, of someone that can help you. You know, there's clubs all over the place, so we can hopefully hook you up with someone who is more local to you if you're not local to us that can help you. But
Yeah, that's the key.
as I said earlier tonight, and Kara hit on it, get out there and shoot with people your age. Whether we're talking about adults or whether we're talking about the youth, it's more fun when you're shooting with somebody your age, your skill level.
Hmm.
Find your group, find your people.
That's it. I love it. Find your tribe, folks.
Yep.
When's the season start? When would people need to make a decision to let you know if they are interested
So,
in this?
we're gonna kick off practice is actually gonna start the week of Thanksgiving.
Soon.
That's it's so yeah, the end of November we'll start practicing. We actually are gonna host the first event of the year. We're hosting an indoor shoot the weekend between Christmas and New Year's. We're hosting an indoor 3D or three yeah, indoor S3DA shoot, paper target shoot. We're doing it the weekend between Christmas and New Year's, so it's going to be like the icebreaker
Love it.
kind of thing. So yeah, it's coming up faster than you think. I know it's getting up on me faster than
End of
I'm ready
November,
for.
you start. You practice for a few weeks, and then 4 weeks, you're into it. You're ready for that first competition. So
Yeah. Yep.
I love to hear it, man. We're going to continue to follow your journey, Kara, and so share them stories as you're making memories. Continue to share those tales with us, and we wish you the best of luck this year.
Thank you.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys checking in. I'm going to figure out, like, this is, like I said, new live stream. I'm trying to figure out how to run like our end of credits. I think I've got it figured out here. For you guys that are watching, checking us out, appreciate all the support online. go find the Dillsburg Archers on Facebook, or find Matt Mentzer on Facebook or Instagram. Shoot him a note, reach out to him, and go check out this S3DA archery over the winter. All right, remind you guys, just over the winter, just remember to stay wild and get outdoors. Nature is our playground.